All right. Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to another episode of Cosplay Bites, the show that's all on cosplay, convention news, and all that good stuff. It's available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and now recently Google Podcasts. So I think those are the four main platforms that I'm going to try to focus on with this show. So this is a very special centered episode, and with me I have the ever so talented Phalafel Cosplay.
Falafel. I like the food. It's kind of funny.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I've been saying it wrong this entire
You know,
time.
a bunch of people have said it every other which way that I could ever imagine. So yeah, it's just like the food. Falafel.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, just normal housekeeping stuff. Oh yeah, if you guys like the show, definitely rate and review it, as it helps me out a lot. And you can also support it on either my Patreon if you want to pledge, or through the Anchor listener support feature that they have. Over on my blog, where I featured falafel, there we go, multiple times. There's a couple of posts I got planned and set. This week you can check out features on POC Cosplay's Bayonetta, specifically the outfit from the second game. And then I have Lai Kovacs in her Sheikah Link outfit, mainly from Breath of the Wild. And then upcoming, I have Meryl Sama's Quiet from Metal Gear Solid 5, Nicole Marie Jean Savage Rogue. I got a Score Bunny and a League of Legends cosplay coming up. And for my people that are on Patreon, my patrons that I have, shout out to Coralia Jade, Katyuska Moonfox, Mink the Satyr, Nicole Marie Jean, Noah Wilson, Oh My Sophie, and Shaylin. And that is pretty much all the housekeeping stuff. So, to go to the next part, Falafel, as I mentioned before, I've shared her multiple times. I think I found her, like most people, recently in the last couple of years through other cosplayers that I follow, and it was your female Ganondorf that won me over. So
Yeah, it was a fun build. I miss wearing it. I actually haven't put on Ganon in quite a while. But yeah, I think that's the first time that you had reached out to me, and I think that was your first blog post of one of my cosplays too.
yeah. And then you did Meta Knight, which I lost my mind over.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't wait any longer, because I know you still, I guess do you still have photos you're waiting to hear back from, or?
No, so with Meta Knight, I haven't actually done like a full shoot yet.
Oh.
So a friend of mine, Louie, AI Louie on Instagram, he wanted to do a video for it at Katsucon, this past Katsucon, and that's what a lot of those stills and then a couple of haul shots have come from. But I actually have not done a full shoot yet. I was hoping to do it during the summer, but it's been so hot in Maryland that it's like, to put all of that on, I would be melting.
You will die
before it would even start. Yeah, so I'm trying to find a good time. And then also, I built Kirby for my friend DB at DB Instagram, and so coordinating a shoot for the both of us where it's cool enough that we won't die in the summer heat would be when I actually get full shoots for that cosplay.
Yeah, and then you did your Golden Lionel from Breath of the Wild, which was simply amazing. I mean, I definitely want to talk about that more in a later part of this episode, because I'm pretty sure I got how you made the centaur part wrong, unless I got it right, but I definitely want to learn more about it.
I mean, I feel like from what I remember reading of the post, most of it was right. But yeah, we could talk more about that build, because that build was a lot of love and trial and error trying to figure out how to construct that whole bit. But that was a wild build to do in a short amount of time. So it was a fun one too.
So now that they revealed that a sequel's in the work, you're gonna see if there may be something to grab from that.
So it's funny because before it was announced, I was already planning on like a female Calamity Ganon cosplay.
Oh my god!
So that is definitely my Katsu, my next KatsuCon large build that I'm working with. I always try to find something with builds that like I've never really explored much of before. So that one's kind of going to be my big like LED armor build.
Oh, okay.
So I've been designing a little bit of it, and I've been bouncing between so many other projects this summer that I haven't gotten a jump on it yet. But Calamity Ganon is going to be the next one for sure.
Nice.
Because that mini trailer in E3 killed me, and I was like, I have to. There's no way I can't. So
yeah, that'll be an interesting cosplay to see once it's all finished.
If I do it right, knock on wood.
I'm sure you will. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can just get right into it. So in a previous episode with Akaki Yoga, we talked about Packseed, and then we talked a little bit about what it's like for people of color to be in the cosplay world. And she said that, from what I remember, she said progress has been made, but there's still a lot more to deal with. Like a lot more that we need to get through as a community, like in the cosplay world. So yeah, I guess I could just leave it off to you. So I guess to start it off, how do you feel about being a POC in the cosplay world? Like, how has it been?
My personal experience has been a mix of a bit of joy, a bit of frustration in some points. I've only been cosplaying for about 2.5 years now, and honestly, the reason why I waited so long, or I kept telling myself that I could not do it, was because of the lack of representation I saw when I was younger.
Right.
The focus was very much not on POC cosplayers, and the idea was very heavy that if you didn't look like that character, then you should not cosplay that character.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I was like, I can be Rose from Full Metal Alchemist, I can be Storm, I can be possibly Jade from Mortal Kombat. Like, my options were very limited in the pool.
You were restricting yourself, yeah.
Right. And I agree that it's grown so much, in that we're seeing all of these incredibly talented people of color cosplaying across all spectrum of anime, gaming, shows, movies, multi-fandoms.
Absolutely, yeah.
And cosplaying all types of characters, any race, shape, size, that it fills me with such inspiration that I was like, okay, I can do this. This is something that I'm more than capable of doing.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that there is a support group within the community of POC cosplayers, and that we're very much rooting for each other to make that build, to do that cosplay, to be that character, because again, there can be a lot of pushback, with people saying, oh, you can't cosplay that character because that character isn't Black or Latino, or whichever race they may be, or saying that, or not giving enough focus to somebody who's cosplaying as a person of color.
Yeah.
Than if somebody else who isn't a person of color is cosplaying that same character, or things like, getting excluded from shoots, or being harassed on the internet. Lord knows how many times people told me to kill myself because I was Princess Peach, because Princess Peach is not Black. But It's
God's sakes.
beautiful. Yeah, it sucks, but it's very beautiful that the community is so strong and so supportive that you can push past those negative words and actions and really create something fun and just have fun with each other, you know? Because like
Yeah.
at the root of it all, we're all dressing up like fictional characters.
Right.
like it shouldn't never be that deep to be like so like upset that a person of color is cosplaying somebody who
Yeah.
isn't white, or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
seeing the community grow and being able to be representation for other people is a great joy, and it fills my heart with such warmth when like somebody will message me and was like, you know, I started cosplaying because I saw you cosplay. Like that is like the biggest the
Biggest kind of
biggest
compliment
gift.
you can kind of get as a
Huge,
cosplayer. Yeah.
immensely, yeah. So I do agree with that, you know, a lot of progress has been made, but I think there's so much farther that the community can go to really be completely inclusive to cosplayers of color. So
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I definitely have heard of photographers definitely excluding cosplayers of
Mm-hmm.
people of color. More so like the big named like popular photographers I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes you just like really like appreciate like God bless David No for
Mm-hmm.
all of his crazy shoots where he takes like dozens upon dozens of pictures at every con he goes to, which
Yeah.
the guy seems to be everywhere. It's really amazing.
I know, but
Yeah.
he really shoots all types of people, you know? He's one to really appreciate cosplay and in the fun and the creativity and artistic nature of it, and he doesn't exclude any type. So it's funny, like you can go through his feed and you will see all the representation of every different type of person imaginable, right? And it's
Right.
super beautiful. But sometimes there are photographers where if you go through their feed, it's all the same type of people, same body shape, same like race of people,
Yeah.
or they'll have like one, maybe two after scrolling for 2 minutes, you know, people of color
Yeah.
in their feed. Um, so that gets hard. There's a lot of different things that are set up to almost discourage somebody from wanting to do it because they feel like they're not good enough because they are a person of color, which
Right.
sucks because it's not true, you know?
Yeah.
And so if I could let anyone know that you can cosplay whoever you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone, and as long as you're not hurting yourself, you can do whatever that you want to do, you know?
Right.
So
Exactly.
no, David's great though. Actually, he took a picture. He's taken a couple of pictures of me, but his Meta Knight Kirby one is one of my favorite shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that I used in
Mm-hmm.
the write up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um yeah, and then just trying to think. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
then you have people that, I mean, it's not really seen over here, but I because I've seen many people just like point fingered at like the cosplayers over in the European areas,
Mm-hmm.
or like the main couple of few that are stupid that try to get a rise out of people when they do blackface
Right. Right.
part of their cosplay, which is very weird to me.
Right. Yeah. That's another whole large issue in the community that does hurt people of color is blackfacing in the cosplay community. And the ultimate question, which I think it's funny for it to even be a question, but the question of is it okay to race face while cosplaying if you're trying to be, you know, accurate to that character.
No, yeah.
To which the answer will always be no, it's not okay. There's a long, not only is there a long history of blackface, of race facing that is very discriminatory and further marginalizes and oppresses people of color by portraying these negative stereotypes. Uh, but aside from that history of blackfacing, it's it gets down to the point of that at the end of the day, like that race facer gets to wash it off. and they don't get to experience the discrimination when somebody is faced with a different skin color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I can't wash this off.
No, you can't.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna be Black. I'm gonna be Latina, no matter how hard I'm scrubbing in the shower. That's just gonna computer fell. That's just who I'm gonna be. But there's always the defense of, well, I'm honoring that character by changing my skin color.
That's bullshit.
It's not honorable in the least, to the sense.
No, it's not.
I want to be accurate. We will know exactly who you are if you just wear the costume. You don't have to change the color, because it turns into a mockery of the struggles that people of color have to face.
Right.
And at the end of the day of it all, the messed up part of it is that person who has race face to cosplay that character will end up getting wildly, like, much more attention from the community than somebody who is a person of color cosplaying that character. So there's privilege there that people sometimes don't want to acknowledge, or if they want to troll the internet or do whatever they will. But that's just another layer of discouragement that Black cosplayers, that Latinx cosplayers, that any person of color really is faced with in the community. That's like, well, should I continue to cosplay? Should I keep doing this if I'm just going to be kind of hit day after day with foolishness? And sometimes it gets hard. It honestly does. But again, with the support group of just some incredibly talented people and allies as well, it gets easier to spread the message and make cosplay fun again. Yeah.
Okay, let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Focusing on Black cosplayers, do you feel that females or males have a much harder time, or is it kind of like equal spread? Who gets more quote unquote hate or trolled from the internet more?
That's hard. I want to say, from what I've seen it on both ends pretty evenly, but at the end of the day, being a Black woman, we get hit with both racism as well as being hit with misogyny. So that double that does get heavier, specifically on if it's getting hate or harassed on the internet. I honestly feel like I've seen it on both ends. And I've seen some pretty terrible things said to both parties of people. But I also think that being a Black woman, we get a lot more being
double whammy, especially considering that cosplay as a whole generally tend to be more female dominated than the males.
I've seen more. I guess more women do tend to cosplay than men, I guess I've seen. But being a woman, be it either cis or transgendered, or even non-binary folks get it a lot too. And it's that layering of, I guess if you want to call it other, outside of the majority. You get kind of hit at the same time for different reasons.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess I just, when I see it, like, to either party, it's just as bad. I don't know if I can, rationalize out, do Black men or Black women get hit more?
That's fine. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say when you have those added layers to it.
Added stacks, yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you've been cosplaying for a little over 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now you wanted to, and you were kind of just waiting for the right time to when like because you were looking to see more representation.
Yeah, well, I distinctly remember the first time that I saw a character that I wanted to dress up as. And this was like when I was young. I was probably like 10 or 11 maybe when I started watching anime. And I was like, oh, that character looks like me. And, you know, she's really cool. Like for the one episode she was in, it was Rose from the first Full Metal. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to dress up like her. But then, you know, being that young and like that wasn't really a thing that I could do at the time, like limited resources and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like 10 years old. But but in growing up, I always thought like, oh, it'd be really cool to dress up as these characters, but like who could I be that I really like connected with? And then seeing like online, I'm like, oh, but like, you know, I don't really see a lot of Black people cosplaying. I don't really see a lot of Latino people cosplaying. So like, is that something that I'm really like allowed to do? Will I be judged on either end of joining this community? Because sometimes there's the stigma of like, okay, if I start dressing up and all these people who are not people of color are going to judge me, like, oh, like, what does she think she's doing? Like, she's not a part of this community. So,
yeah.
Judge the general judgment of just liking nerdy things in sometimes the Black and Latino community when I was growing up was kind of like, if or was like, oh, why is she dressing up like a character? It's a waste of time kind of thing. But more so was the fear of like, I didn't see anyone else doing it that looked like me.
Yeah.
So I just assumed that I wasn't allowed to. Like that wasn't a thing I couldn't do.
Oh, wow.
And which was really sad. And then I got older and kind of grew outside of that like thought process of, oh, I can't. And I was like, oh, I can do whatever I damn well please do. You know? I will. But then I was like, oh, but money, it's expensive.
True.
I've come to learn is also not true. Learning the things that I know now about crafting is that you don't need a lot of money to get a lot of things achieved. But
it's true. But
it was a younger me, and so I was like, oh, I don't have money, I don't have time because I was in school full time when I was considering it. And I'm a composer, so I also was writing a lot of music at that time.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, people with similar interests, because in that friend group I had at the time, I was the only really nerdy one. So I was like, oh, like I would want to do it with like someone else and like dress up and stuff. So I ended up finding nerdy friends, and I went to, I guess, Katsucon 2017. It was the first ever convention that I'd been to. And it was like the coolest thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
Oh yeah, like, I went. That was my first Katsucon. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I've
really?
been to Katsu twice, and that was my first Katsucon because, I mean, I've been going to cons and cosplaying when I can since 2012. So. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first convention. I did a very makeshift Gladio cosplay. Whereas yeah, but it's not as fancy as it sounds. It was literally just a leather jacket, some like black jeans and a crop top, and then I just painted with acrylic paint his tattoos on my body. And I was like, this is it. I did it. No, but it was fun. But I went. I was invited by one of my best friends in the entire world. His name's Joe, and his set of friends who are all incredible cosplayers. And I was blown away. Even from entering the hotel room and just seeing, like, it was DV, who's at DV on DBeeb on Instagram, Mr. Bunny, Nikki on Instagram, Sam Star Cosplay, Sam also on Instagram. They were dressed as these. It was like the Pokemon Go, like, but it was in this pinup style. I don't know, but it was very cute, and I was like, wow, like you guys made all of this. And then I'd go out into the hall and like everyone looks so cool.
Yeah,
this is the coolest thing. But then I saw tons of people who looked like I did. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, people, like, all Black cosplayers everywhere, having a good time, looking awesome in their cosplays. And I was like, I want to do this. And there was a moment actually during that convention where I was like in tears because I was like, I want to look cool too. I want to be able to do the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I've been hooked ever since. And so just being able to see, even in the 3 days that I was there, it was like a flood of emotion of validation that like I can be who I want to be regardless of, you know, my gender, my skin tone, like whatever under the sun. I can learn how to make these costumes. I can wear them. I can go and talk and interact with these people, and we all bond over the same nerdy thing because we're all just doing the same nerdy stuff, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I just think it's so great, and
Yeah.
so remarkable to see so
No, it
many
is.
people doing it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess from that point, I was gonna lead into like, who are your favorite, I guess just cosplayers in general, but I guess also like somewhat focused on POC cosplayers that you
Mm-hmm.
follow, or like who are some that like inspire you? Like
Yeah.
great way to like really bring out your best stuff if you can.
So my good friend, I gotta pull out my phone so I can make sure I get like people's ats right, because it's like if I'm gonna shout them out, I really want to do them like the most justice. So a friend Avery, AC Draymond on Instagram, his builds are super incredible, so like clean. He's done Genji, he's done different Batman armor. His work is one that I really admire. Also, my Never Ending Dreams on Instagram, Monty, who is like very much big armor builds. Because my favorite part of cosplaying is making armor builds. I like all types of facets of crafting, but armor is really where I get like the most inspiration from.
Right.
So Monty is really incredible. I'm trying to think of other builders and other, I guess, cosplayers in general. King Kitsu is great because of his activism in the community, and like Kitsu really just speaks out for people of color in the cosplay community. Yeah. And I find that super inspiring is people using their platform. Lady Low Cosplay, who's super gorgeous, and her work is always great, and her positivity, like she's just a delight.
Yeah.
I think, Rainbow Redwood was one of the first crafting videos that I watched because she would post all of her build progresses, and her sewing skills are like out of this world, completely out of this world.
Alley Cat Cosplay.
Alley Cat Cosplay, she's incredible. I only recently found her a couple months ago, and her cosplays are so fun, and she just has like such a bright personality. I love Alley Cat. Blue Cosplay, who's another great builder of armor.
Yeah.
And he's cool too. Like great personality. I feel like there's so many people that I could just like.
Well, let me name some off that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically focusing on POC, I know there is there's Spectra.
Spectra, yeah, yes, very much so.
Yeah, he does a really great Aquaman that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
There's K-Bear.
Yeah, K-Bear, of course.
Of course, yep. She's a doll. Izzy Sayako.
Yeah,
she's great.
So great. I met Izzy through I think she first reached out after last year's BlurredCon to me, and we got to meet at Otakon, and she is such a ball of joy, and she's so funny. I worked on why am I blanking on this Yu-Gi-Oh character? Dark Magician Girl. I worked her Dark Magician Girl, and she actually came to my apartment, and we stayed up like for hours trying to like really make sure that it was right. And she's a blast. Ugh,
Oh yeah.
love.
Yeah. There's Kiss a Frog cosplay that I recently found, and I shared her Princess Tiana.
Yeah, it's
which
gorgeous.
was gorgeous. Yeah. Oh, smokes.
Gorgeous.
I know I shared Alley Cat her Camilla from Fire Emblem because yes, please, big sister.
Right. That and her Peach, her like Queen Peach cosplay.
Oh my god, that gown is
my
insane.
favorite. Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Night Mage, I've only shared once.
Night Mage. I don't know if I know Night Mage. I'm gonna look him up real quick though.
Odds are you probably have seen him at least. He's done Spawn. I shared his Black Adam.
Oh yes, I have.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, incredible.
Yeah, he's definitely a powerhouse.
Yeah. You see like all this great representation, all these great people, who are just like beaming lights of joy and love and positivity in the community that like are just so inspirational to Black cosplayers or people of color cosplayers who are either just starting out or are kind of timid about starting cosplay. And it's like we have such a great pool of people and so many more people coming out, and it's incredible. Like, it just makes my heart happy. And it's like I wish I could have seen and gotten to know these people when I was younger. I wish I would have seen all this when I was little and very scared and shy and down on myself.
Right. Any I guess any non-POC cosplayer that you find to be really inspirational and I guess helpful, like ally-wise for POC cosplayers? Like,
I feel like moderately okay cosplay. I enjoy his work, and I've seen him speak on POC issues in the community. Jessica Negri, of course, is a doll. She's super sweet, and she's actually shares a lot of POC cosplayers on her feed, and she's always talking about positivity and just being nice to the community. And her builds are incredible too. Many a times did I watch the which dragon is it? I mean, she's done both.
Which dragon?
Yeah, I know. Right? But her whole build series where she goes through the time lapse of making her dragons.
I wonder if she's how I found you, because I feel like when she goes on a sharing spree of cosplay that I have no clue who the heck they are, but then I see their outfits and I'm like, oh shoot.
Right.
New person to gush about. Thank you.
And possibly, I know she shared Ganon before, and she shared Lionel before too.
Yeah.
And Meta Knight, I think too.
Yeah.
So possibly.
Right.
I'm trying to think of who else do I really admire in the community.
Well, Akaki Yoga.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's incredible, and we finally met. We first met at not this last Katsu, but the Katsu before that. It was funny because I was walking by and there was like a group of Overwatch cosplayers, and I was in my Sombra Samus crossover, and I just turned over and I just see hey, and I was just like hey, and I got to meet her then because she was in Orisa, and she's incredible, super sweet.
Yeah. Do you feel like the recent strides in media have helped POC cosplayers really try to get out there more. So like specifically when I'm talking about like, you know, like movies, specifically like Black Panther, giant success, Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales being the titular character. Has that helped?
I most definitely. It's again that I get idioms wrong all the time. So it's like you can't be what you can't see. Is that the right way to say that? Where like
I have no idea.
Okay, somebody will probably be like, yeah, that's how you say it. I don't know, but seeing that representation of people that look like us in like large media outlets like Black Panther or Into the Spider-Verse, where you're just like, that's me, you know, that they're sharing a part of my story. You know, we get, you know, kind of outcast sometimes in these outlets, or, you know, like I forget things all the time.
That's okay.
Ghost in the Shell, where they cast Scarlett Johansson instead of an actual Japanese woman, or things like that. That happens all the time. So when we actually see it, when it's actually accurate representation of us, it's awesome, and it makes us want to cosplay those characters. It makes us want to cosplay other characters like that because we feel seen. You know, it's that visibility. So I think it's awesome and super helpful to the community right now.
Yeah. Well, even a much more recent take, the news of who got casted as Ariel in the upcoming live-action mermaid movie.
Right, which it's funny to see the arguments on Twitter then, where it's like, Ariel is not a human person that's real. Ariel is a fish woman. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for her to be cast as a Black woman, you know, because she's a fish. It's not real. But people are up in arms like, well, in Greek mythology, this, that, and the third, and well, why don't we make Tiana white? Where that doesn't make sense because a lot of Tiana's storyline was based off of her being a Black woman in the South. But that's neither here nor there. If you change it, then that takes that creates a large hole in that plot. Versus a fish woman who's not real, of course you can cast, and that's again more representation that we don't see because often we are cast aside in these media outlets. And now we're coming to the forefront, and it's awesome because it's completely it's getting towards being completely inclusive. There's still work to be done, but the inclusivity movement is trucking along strongly. And I feel like our voices are starting to slowly but be surely heard. I'm excited for Little Mermaid. I can't wait to. And I'm gonna take my niece to go see too, so that she can go see that you can be her. You can be on the big
how many Black girls are gonna like basically almost like a whole generation is gonna be growing up on that movie.
Right. So many little Black girls are gonna see like, wow, there's a Disney princess, another Disney princess who looks like me. You know, that's incredible. I always think back because it's so sad. My nephew, he's 10 now, but I remember when he first got Splatoon and he created his character, he kept making all of his characters white. And I asked him why. And he was like, oh, well, on the cover, he's white. So, and like usually in video games, all the characters are white. So I just thought I was supposed to do that. And I was like, no, kid, like you can make them look however you want. You can make them look like you know? So I like taking him to go see, you know, Spider-Man, or showing him videos where cosplayers are dressed up, Black cosplayers are dressed up as all these different characters. So he's like, wow, like I can be that too. I can do that too.
Yeah.
So I just think I'm so excited for the kids growing up and getting to see all these amazing people of color in media so that they can be inspired to go and achieve whatever they want to.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Well said. Yeah.
Thank you. I try to say, I feel like I ramble a lot, or my thoughts are kind of like.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Keep the episode longer.
Right.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
What else could I mention or bring up? Let me see here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if there's kind of a redundant question related to when I asked about like who has it more harder between black males or black females, but
Mm-hmm.
then like when you broaden that spectrum to the minorities,
Mm-hmm.
so like who has a much tougher time? Is it like POCs, Latinos, or Asians for that matter?
I,
Is it,
you
is it
know,
is that kind of like the same answer-ish or
if if we jump to talking about colorism in the community, I feel like people who are darker tend to get it harder than people who are lighter, even if they are still a person of color. Um, I acknowledge that have I have a good bit of privilege being lighter skinned than
yeah,
darker skin cosplayers who, because of colorism, will be discriminated on more, will face far more, racist and like just ugly, like harassment on the internet.
right.
So I'll say on that spectrum, be it versus, if it's Asian versus Latinx versus Black, it's really colorism wise darker people tend to suffer the most, which is so sad. And it's important to acknowledge that and point awareness to how awful that is, especially me being light skinned, because I feel like as an ally to those who are darker skinned who do get faced with more discrimination, I should speak up more on it and say that it's not fair. I'm no better than somebody because my skin is lighter. It doesn't make
Yeah,
any sense.
yeah,
Um, then you can jump to the fetishization of people who are lighter skinned, people of color. That's pretty gross too. You get hit from, again, all different sides, but truly, colorism is also another large part, not just in the cosplay society, but in all facets of the world. But it is definitely prevalent in the cosplay community. Um, and it's not fair, and it's something that people should be called out for more.
right.
Because I feel like that's another part of the issue that doesn't get touched on enough from what I've
Yeah,
seen. You know.
yeah, right. Um, okay. Anything else about like the whole subject in general that you wanted to add, or anything else
Um,
that comes to mind, or
I guess if I always kind of like leave it off of this is that at the end of the day, again, we're all dressing up as people that don't exist, unless you are dressing up as somebody that does exist. I don't know. That's another story, I guess. But we're all dressing up as these fictional characters
yeah,
for fun, and so there's no room for hate in this community. There shouldn't be, and I want people to know that you can cosplay any way that you want to cosplay, be it super accurate or super inaccurate, be it your own design or stick true to the design, as long as you aren't hurting any community of people, you aren't hurting someone or yourself trying to achieve a cosplay standard, as long as everybody's safe, um, you can be whoever you want to be. You truly can, and I don't want anybody to think that they can't because they don't see it,
yeah,
so.
exactly. Okay. Um, so I guess going on to the next section, which
Mhm.
is, I mean, I title it franchise design slash teacher technique, but then we mentioned at the top of the show that yeah, how the hell did you do your Lionel cosplay?
Oh my gosh. So I always, it's funny because this is the Lionel build was done from very wonderful and generous opportunity from Cosplay Supplies, where they provided me with the materials to build this cosplay,
Oh, that's
as
good.
well as Arda Wigs, who provided the wig, and I actually, for the first time, documented how I like create a cosplay outside of Instagram story shots, where you just see me in a corner huddled over foam, like looking like
Like a
um
gremlin.
yeah, like Gollum just like ticking away. So the build is like most of my builds is all learning by trial and error. And so actually I feel like I always forget names. So give me a second because I'm going to look her up.
Sure.
She did the Disney Fantasia Centaur body.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry that I'm blanking.
That's all right.
On this wonderful cosplayer's name, who is also a great inspiration to me. Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess to fill in this little small void,
yes.
Well, what made you choose the golden vinyl out of all the other colors?
Oh, okay. So that's super easy. Why not? There's just something about that glittery gold giant beast who was so badass and the strongest of all the vinyls that I was like, if I have to do one, it has to be that one. But second, I didn't have to put body paint on. And that I was sold on that. Like, oh, I don't have to. I've only ever body painted once, and it was for Princess Bubblegum, and it took so long, and it was so splotchy, and I was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I don't know if I want to
do this again. How about no?
And green and all these. Ginny D. That is the cosplayer who created the Fantasia Centaur.
I think I've heard that name before.
And online, she had posted some progress pics that I studied a little bit to figure out how I would go about creating the Lionel body. But essentially what I did, so it's a PVC pipe structure internally for the body. And so it's kind of mapped out like a cube that is slightly butt-shaped. And then around the back two pipes of that cube is where I kind of patterned my actual thigh into EVA foam so that it would be the same shape as the front legs, essentially, my legs would be.
Right, yeah.
Then I also used a thermoplastic to mold and sculpt my calves, and there is an additional PVC pipe that is hinged to the base so that the leg would move back and forth.
Okay.
And then padded the whole thing with kind of like I guess if you want to call it seat cushion foam, like something you'd put in like your couch or something.
Okay, yeah.
Padded that around so it would get more of like a horse shape, if you will. I also EVA patterned, and I didn't pattern it to me, but I EVA patterned a butt so that it would be glued on as well. So that it's too like, I can't wait until I finish editing that video and put it up because it's the dumbest part of the whole build. I literally just drew two like ovals that were kind of butt cheek shaped and then glued it so that it was on top of the horse. So that it would have the whole horse body, and then it's just strapped with like parachute buckles to my front. And then because of the armor strapping, it kind of hides it. So
okay.
And then so the legs are wired with clear wire to my front legs. So when I walk, it walks along.
Oh, they're kind of okay, yeah.
The structure of the PVC pipe is strong enough that the legs do stand up on their own. And because it's just a PVC structure with light foam around it, it's light enough that I can like at a steady pace walk along with it. I'm not taking brisk strolls in this thing. It's very
no
process, but I can walk with the body. I will admit that it is slightly uncomfortable after a while, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
Still trying to alter it so that if I do take it to a convention one day, which it's a doozy to try to take somewhere, I had a hard problem trying to fit it into my car to the photo shoot. It was like a good 20 minutes there. But I have a tiny car, so just trying to.
Oh boy!
And neighbors watching me shove a horse butt into my car was fun.
That is a good image.
Yeah, they think I'm weird. It's fine. They've seen me walk out of this apartment with many a costume. That's probably not the strangest one. But, shoving that into my car to go. So it can walk along, but just structurally, the way it fits against my back, I did bend the pipes a little bit to kind of form against, but it's still kind of uncomfortable. So I might pad it or something. But
yeah.
But yeah, such a fun build. But I was, can I cuss on this? Is that allowed? I feel like I'm
sure, why not? I think I did.
Okay, I was gonna say I was bullshitting that build the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
if it's gonna work, we'll see. I'll just film it all, and if it does work, it's on camera. If it doesn't, I'll just edit that out. So it was a fun build to do. Very challenging, and that's how I like doing my larger build cosplays that aren't just like jokey or cutesy.
Yeah.
I like challenges when I'm building. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Always good. Always learn new stuff out of it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for Calamity Ganon because I am god awful with LEDs. So bad.
Okay.
When I did the Sombris cosplay, those are all just fairy lights that I like glued in to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because like there's no way that I'm gonna be able to wire this all up in time and do it correctly.
Right.
So that's my next big challenge to kind of hurdle over.
Female Calamity Ganon, like from the first game?
Yeah, in the way that like, so he had that like pinkish orangey glow to all of his pieces, and then of course when like he's holding one of the like guardian swords and the axe, or not the axe, the spear. He has like 8 different arms, but all of the weapons also have that like bright blue LED light. So in my design I will only have 2 arms, thankfully, but those 2 will also have weapons that will need LED attachments, as well as the armor will be LED lit as well. So
right. Nice.
Trying to figure out the math on it.
Yeah. Well, no, because I was gonna mention, what do you think about the whole theory about like that the dead body in the sequel trailer? Everyone's saying it's Ganondorf. I think it is. So I mean, like, is he gonna have a human form? Are you gonna tackle that?
Well, I definitely will if he does come back with a human form. Best believe. I've been thinking about doing Ocarina of Time Ganon too lately, because I just adore Ganondorf. But
right.
If I think that I don't know about if he will have a human form. I feel like it'll be just as monstrous as Calamity, but I also like the idea, and then also all of the fan art that has come out.
I was gonna say, the let's hydrate Ganondorf and make him all daddy like.
I want to be Daddy Ganon. Like, let me find out. I'd love that if that was the case. Hydrated Ganon is fine as hell. I would do it. I'd love to be Hydrated Ganon in a heartbeat. But right now, my mind is like stuck on Calamity Ganon, just because I just think it'd be so cool. Ganondorf is just such a badass.
He is.
In all forms, be it boar or his regular just demon king form in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
Dual sword wielding and all. I think he's just great.
I've always liked his Wind Waker design.
Yeah, his Wind Waker is
such a badass.
I know. I love Ganondorf, and I feel like more people should talk about it. More justice for Ganon. God damn it. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess for fun we could talk about, I definitely want to do hopefully an episode soon this month focused on it. But like E3 just happened last month. Any game you're excited for?
Animal Crossing. Hands down. No debate about it. Animal Crossing.
You're one of those.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? So I'm a gamer. I game very, often being probably every single day of my life. Have since I was 3 years old. I've played every type of game under the spectrum. But there's something about Animal Crossing that is just so incredible. Ever since in 2003, when the first commercial came out for Animal Crossing, where it was like all of them dressed up, like it was people dressed up in like villager puppet, like giant like mascot costumes, pretending they were in the real world, like MTV's Real World, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I need all of it. And it has grown into one of the greatest franchises I've ever seen. Now, this is coming from me who's like, my favorite video game is Chrono Cross. I'm a large JRPG player.
Oh, we're gonna get along just fine. That's me too.
Yeah, but I play horror games and I play this as all different types of like hardcore games under the sun. But there's something about Animal Crossing that just keeps me coming back for more. So I was very much the one that was like, let's get to the Animal Crossing announcement. I'm cool skipping everything else, even though there's so many cool games that are about to come out. I can't wait. I just did Rossetti. Rossetti is my favorite character in all of Animal Crossing. He's everything.
Yeah.
He's so aggressive, and I love it.
You dressed up as him, and then you found out that he's out of a job.
Yeah, the night that they announced that, or the day that he announced that he was out, I was out for a majority of the day, and then dressed up as Rossetti that night. And I was not on my phone the entire day. I've been trying to be better about being on social media. So I was not on my phone that entire day. So I was like, this is going to be great. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm so excited.
It's cute.
I thank you. I love Rossetti. I was like, this is perfect. I'm just going to be a meme. And so DV was here and she was taking pictures and we were being stupid. And then I was like, all right, that's a good night. I'm going to call it a night. Went to bed. And it's not until the next morning that I get on Twitter and I was like, what do you mean he's fired? What are you talking about?
The birth of the autosave.
I was crushed. My heart was shattered into so many little pieces.
Robots are taking our jobs.
No, robots are taking the jobs. Rights for moles. We have rights too. Starting a union. God damn it, we're going on strike. That's funny because I was thinking, so for BlurredCon is next weekend, and because of the heat, I was still deciding on what cosplay I should do. I was like, oh, I might like make like a really cute maid as Isabel one, and I was like, or I could take Rossetti but make a giant picket sign and just march around. We're gonna get his job back, you guys. We have to do this. It's a must. It's a necessity. God. I was so upset. Now, there's a lot of games, though, that E3... Cyberpunk is going to be cool. I'm actually really excited for that. Again,
all hail Keanu Reeves.
I know, the best E3. Like,
all the reaction videos are priceless. Oh my god.
That turn back. Oh, Keanu Reeves is everything. I think Cyberpunk might be one of the ones that I'm the most excited about. Honestly.
I am too. Yeah, because I mean, like, I tried The Witcher, and I mean, I liked it somewhat. I didn't really do anything with it because it was just like I was starting to play it, and then it was giving me a lot of World of Warcraft vibes. And then thinking back to my time with World of Warcraft, like, I don't have this kind of time. I can't play this game.
It's a huge game. I really like Witcher, and Witcher 3 was incredible. I'm a huge Gwent player.
Okay.
Huge Gwent fan. It's funny. I used to have a whole set, and then my car got broken into, and they took my purse, which had my Gwent set in it.
Oh no!
I haven't seen it since. I need to buy a new one, but
oh no!
Huge fan of Gwent. Witcher's cool. So I'm excited to see how Cyberpunk turns out.
Yeah. I already put in my pre-order for the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yes, of course. That was another blow away moment where I was just like, this looks so cool. And then even all the cosplays that have already come out of it, and it's been how many weeks has it been? Like, not even
close to a month.
It's been a month, so probably like 4-ish weeks maybe.
God bless all the Tifa remake cosplayers. Thank
I
you.
know, yeah. Blessings on blessings on blessings, because they all look incredible. Oh my god. So fast too. People build so quickly, and sometimes I'm just like, wow, like you're incredible.
Within like 5 days, I see stuff popping up. Like, what's the matter with you people? Why are you
Right.
crazy?
You know what my 5-day cosplay is? Rossetti. I was like, this is the one that I should release. No, it's incredible. People who can churn out builds quickly, I very much admire. Um, I think the fastest build I've ever done was a Riju cosplay, Breath of the Wild. I did
Oh
that in 2 days,
yeah.
but that was like 2 like sleepless days before Otakon 2 years ago. And it's because another cosplay that I wanted to do was falling through, and I was like, oh, I want something else to bring.
Right.
And so I like crunched the hell out of that. But
Yeah.
man, people who can consistently churn out these cosplays, like, incredible.
Jessica Negri, definitely one of them.
Yeah, she made like 5 different maid outfit versions of her cosplays in like a week and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
She's nuts.
yeah, like I
I
love
love
it.
her. Yeah.
Like so fast and well done. Those are
Yeah.
my favorites. Where it's like super quick, but like it's still like a super like clean build.
Her dragons were done in a couple of weeks. Like, okay,
Yeah,
lady.
right.
Okay.
Like so cool.
Yeah.
I will say like Ganon was pretty fast. I did Ganon within like 3 weeks maybe, but like Meta Knight took forever. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Way longer than I ever anticipated for it to take.
It really came out amazing though. Like I was
Thank you.
fawning over the armor and how it looks, and just like, oh my god, this girl is awesome.
Thank you. That one's my baby. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite cosplay so far, which is why I hate that it's so hot, because I really want to go wear it again.
I was gonna ask. You probably can't wear that long, can you?
What here's the thing, comfort wise, because I learned a lot when I did the Sombra Samus one, which is quite uncomfortable. That like if there's a way I can build to make everything fit comfortably, I'm going to do it. So I can wear Meta Knight for a long period of time. Especially if I'm not wearing heels with it, if I'm wearing like regular shoes. When I have heels, it's a different story. But I also just have to remember to stay hydrated. If I'm hydrated, it's like I'm wearing like clothes. But if it gets hotter, it's not as comfortable, because it's all just full coverage too. There's not a lot of room with foam.
No, it's not.
So when it gets hotter, it gets more difficult. But usually in good temperature, I could wear that for hours on hours, because I really try to make these builds like comfortable for long wear. Yeah. But I also messed up at Katsu, where I like downed a hot chocolate first thing in the morning, drank no water, and I was like, I feel awful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm going to
That'll happen
if I don't sit down and drink 3 gallons of water immediately. So you live and you learn. That's the gist of it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add or talk about?
Yeah, I don't know. I just want people to stay healthy. Make sure you eat your vegetables, drink your water. Cosplay is for everyone. Be nice. Don't be mean. Being nice is free. I guess you can follow me on my socials at Phalafel Cosplay on Instagram, PHALAFEL, Falafel, like the food. Same on Twitter, YouTube, Phalafel Cosplays, where you can see my first 3 videos of the Lionel build, and the last part, which is going to be the actual butt, that's going to be up soon. Follow me on Facebook. Did I say that? Yeah, Facebook and Instagram is Phalafel Cosplays with an S. Twitter is without an S because I ran out of characters, so it's just Phalafel Cosplay, which is unfortunate.
Womp.
I'm gonna be at BlurredCon coming up next week. That's July 13th, I believe, is that Saturday.
BlurredCon. Okay, yep.
So July 13th. I don't know when this will be released, before or after that. Not too sure.
I could tell you afterward.
Yeah, if it is before, you can come say hi there. I'll also possibly be at Otakon. I'm still trying to work all that out. If I am there, I'll definitely be there for one day. I don't know if I'll be there for the whole weekend yet, but
Right.
that'll be at the end of the month. And yeah, I just want to help promote a very positive and safe community in space. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, no, I mean that would what we're gonna end it with. Yeah, so you follow Falafel at all those links. You can follow my blog at Lightning Palace on Twitter and then Lightning Palace blog on Instagram. New posts go up generally on a Thursday and Friday. And yeah, just stick to the platform that you like to most to listen to my podcast. And I think this month is going to be a good one. Like I'm going to get the ball rolling on more episodes and have much better success in getting guests to line up to be on the show. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much, Falafel, for being on the show and providing such great insight and advice into a topic that's very important to the cosplay community and needs to be looked at more, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much for using your platform to share such stories and narratives and perspectives on these important issues. So thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been great.
All right. Well, that's about it. I hope